Today's episode is number 326, and we're diving into March Madness to help you win big in real estate. So, as we like to do on these solo episodes where it's just you and me, and I do want to prepare you that the next number of weeks we are going to be just you and I, based on scheduling and, well, everything else going on in both business and in life, and I'd probably suggest more in business. We've decided to, kick it old school. Old school? Where did that come from? What do you mean old school? Like, old school would have been with guests. What are we doing with... Anyways. As always, just you, me, and my coffee cup over here, so this is going to be a great show. And the way I like to start these off as we talk about the past few shows, I just want to bring light to some of the topics that we have discussed over the past few weeks. Off the top of this year, in episode 322, we talked, it was just you and I, and we talked about your February fire-up, winning 1 month, winning the year. That was like a little tongue twister there. Let me try this again. Your February fire-up, winning the year 1 month at a time. With me. Now, we talked about a whole bunch of different things. We did a January review. We really looked over, what did January look like? We did some wins. We did some losses. We recapped the month and dove into some self-reflection. And of course, in every single section of this episode, I always continue to give you action steps because we got to make sure that whatever it is that we are learning from this episode, that we can take that and put it into action. We talked about understanding the current market. We talked rates. We talked tariffs. We talked realities and how it's putting people on the sidelines right now, causing probably quite a little bit of a slowdown in the spring market. And we're 1 month past that now, so we'll see what happens, and we're going to talk about that in a few moments here. The struggle of the daily grind. Okay, looking at what are most people struggling with? Preparing to win the spring market. So the essence of that episode was to help you get set and ready, and of course having the right mindset for success. So once again, a fantastic episode, if I do say so myself, with just me, myself, you, my coffee cup. You know how this thing goes. But definitely tune into episode 322, your February fire-up. On episode 323, we talked about balancing success, business, law, and life. We had special guest principal lawyer at Vantage Law, Alessandra Ocampo. She owns Vantage Law. She has a child's play place that she owns as well. She has just gone through an entire brand relaunch with a bigger purpose of helping many other people find their path to success. She's awesome. She does a great job out there in the industry, very well known and well respected. We had a fantastic conversation about, again, the balance between business and life and, of course, success. On episode 324, we talked about how to communicate to dominate, and we explored strategic branding strategies with special guest Remax Canada Director Wade Patterson. Now, Wade came to me highly touted from a few different sources, and so we had to dive in and understand who Wade was, what he was all about. And I got to tell you, that was a absolutely fantastic episode. Very, very smart guy, incredibly well-spoken, definitely down to earth, on my level here when it comes to a podcast show, knew exactly what he was doing. And really, actually, it was funny enough, he actually spun the tables on me off the top of the show, asked me a question. At the end of the show, asked me a question. Like on my show. What's this guy trying to do? Hijack this thing? Kidding. Great episode. Again, communication is paramount to, well, as we said in this show, domination. But it's the idea behind it of success and how important it is to communicate with other people. So again, how does that all tie into your brand, and what are you doing to communicate out there? And so we touched on a number of different topics, and again, communication, as I just mentioned, super, super important. So another episode I want to really, really highly encourage that you tune in. Wade was absolutely amazing. And then, of course, on episode 325, we talked about getting social smart, from posts to profits in business, with special guest, CEO and co-founder of Katie Lance Consulting, the one and only Katie Lance. I met Katie a number of years ago. She does a fantastic, through the Inman and the NAR circuits. She's out of the U.S. She does an absolutely amazing job teaching our industry about social media, how to keep up with the trends, best practices, pro tips, hacks, you name it. You want to learn more about social, I mean, of course, I got to tell you, connect with me and, tune into MindShare 101 podcast, the MindShare podcast, and find out more about our momentum training and our blueprint training and everything else we do, because we can help you with that stuff. All that being said, I definitely don't want to downplay what Katie's done with this particular topic in this industry. Again, another really awesome individual, very down to earth. She can teach you a whole bunch about social, and that's exactly what she did. So, again, I want to encourage you, tune in. Episode 322, 323, 324, 325. Some great stuff. Anyhow, let's get into it. And you know how this goes. Every once in a while, we pause for a quick 2-second commercial break. Sip a little bit of coffee, and I did that very much on purpose. I wanted you to hear me sipping the coffee. So you know we recorded this in the morning. But look, March is a critical month in real estate. Today, we are going to zero in on how to harness this month for maximum impact in the months ahead for you, okay? Look, this is money time. This is where you make or break your year. So I've broken this down. I want to touch on a few different areas, okay? We want to do some reflections. We want to talk about some market dynamics. What we need to know, what we should pay attention to. Of course, I'm going to work to give you some productivity hacks. We're going to talk about some client engagement strategies. And then we'll send you off on your way and let you get back to your day. But of course, as always, I want to thank you for tuning in to this episode of the MindShare podcast. We work really hard to bring you some topics and some guests and a whole bunch of learning that you can apply to your business. So I thank you very, very sincerely for tuning in today. But let's get started here with some February reflections, okay? Right now, as we think to where we are in the month, we are in the middle of March as you listen to this episode. We are literally, 2 weeks out from finishing Q1. Like, stop and think about that for a minute. 2 weeks out from finishing the first quarter of the year. How does time move so quickly? How is it possible that things are going that fast? But it is important that as things do move fast and as we are working through, that we do look back on strategies that we implemented, strategies that we thought we were going to, really work on, or strategies that we did put in place, but who knows what happened? Did it work out for us? Did it not work out for us? And really, that's what a big part of what I want to focus in on right now is to really look back at those and figure out what moved the needle. What fell short? How was February for you? Think about it. What were your wins? Okay, and this is something that's real important to do. And again, we did this in January, so you should be used to this. And if you haven't listened before, again, thank you for showing up today. But think about that, right? How was the month of February for you? Where did you win? Did you get as many calls done as you wanted to get done? Did you send out those 2 email blasts that I always recommend? You got to send out 2 email blasts, not just 1, but 2. Were you active on social media? And I don't mean just stalking people. I'm talking about actually acting with purpose on social. Connecting with people, being interested in other people, direct messaging people, creating those online connections. What about on a personal level? Workouts and food and gratitude and vacations and family time. Ask yourself and really take stock of this. Where did you win? See, as we do this every single week, I do it every single day, and my coaching clients do it every single day, but we talk about daily, weekly, monthly. We are continuously evaluating our performance. And sure, oftentimes you can get very scared on something like that because you can sit back and say, "Ooh, geez, I don't really want to know what those numbers are. I'm not very confident in what I did do." But it's crucial that we do pay attention to that because that's where self-accountability comes in. So much the same when we're tracking wins. I want you to think of, what were your misses? Where did you miss out? In a very similar list I just listed off to you, what didn't you accomplish? Were you not making your calls? Did you not do enough maybe prospecting of meeting new people and adding them to your pipeline? Because again, we know conversion doesn't happen from when you meet somebody and they just turn into a deal. Conversion is the process of meeting somebody and moving them into your database. Once they're in your database, that's step 1. Step 2 is to then work them through your database, through your 10-year plan, your bulletproof follow-up system, ensuring that you stay in touch and you do the follow-up. You build the mind share, eventually you do get the market share. And that's where we talk about the next stage of conversion. But again, where did you win? Where did you miss? Make a list of that. Once you do that, then take stock of how did February compare to January? Did we do more of our IPAs, income-producing activities? Did we do less? Were we more productive? Or were we less productive? We start to get the stats, the data that we need to really be able to look at ourselves and understand what it is that we could be doing to be a better version of us, to have more success in business. So do that review those key actions, okay? And as you do that, really pay attention to it, because when we do think to it right now, it is only March. You still got an entire year ahead of you to be able to pick up whatever you might have missed out on, to be able to gain that momentum and that steam that you really truly need to push through the spring market and have a great spring market, because this is the market that sets the tone for the entire year. So make sure you're reviewing those key actions, okay? Now, also remember this. You can adapt. The best strategies that are out there, they can always have some sort of flexibility to them. And as we do review, think about how you can tweak that approach based on whatever you did last month, right? So again, we're looking back. We've got to look back. And we've got to understand what we're doing. We've got to figure out what those big lessons were. So I know what my misses are. I know my wins are. I know how the 2 months compare to each other. Now it's important that over those 2 months, I identify what those big lessons were. What did I really learn about myself? Am I sticking to my schedule? Am I procrastinating? Am I pushing through? Am I not doing enough? Am I doing too much? Am I driving myself crazy? I mean, there's a lot of different things we can learn. Unfortunately, what happens is most people wait till December to try to implement this. And what I'm trying to do right now is really energize you, engage you in you. For you to figure out, what do I need to do now, right now, not by the end of the year? And if my mindset's not in the right place, what can I do right now to reset that? Because you have all the opportunity. I want to really reinforce that point for you. It's super important. Don't give up. I mean, over 85% of people have already given up. They gave up weeks ago on their new goals, their resolutions, whatever it is they're trying to accomplish this year. They already gave up. You don't want to be them. Okay, so your action step here is based on what you learn about whatever you did in February, and then month over month in January. Identify those areas of improvement, and then make the necessary adjustments, and do it now. And look, I recognize it's really easy to say that. It's even not that hard to actually identify it. But making the change is where it gets difficult. And this is why our one-to-one coaching program is so powerful, because this is where we help people create that accountability, create those systems, create those processes. I mean, I talk to people all the time who tell me all the time where their misses are and where their problems are and, what they know they need to be doing. But then they hold themselves back. They don't push through. They don't actually take the next leap to maybe get signed on with coaching, to get some help from somebody. They think they could do it on their own. And months later, when you check in with these people, and those of you that have heard me or have contacted me and my team, we check in with you. They're still in the same spot. They're still struggling with the same stuff. Imagine you just actually started to correct this stuff earlier, which again is exactly what I'm encouraging you to do right now. And I'm not encouraging you saying you have to sign up with a coach. What I'm saying is, do the self-reflection for you. Do what you can to right that ship now. And then if you need help, sure, reach out. We are right here for you. Okay, let's move on. I mentioned off the top we want to talk about some market dynamics. And again, the entire episode being set and ready to, help you get ready for your spring market. Commercial break. Commercial break over. Okay, so getting ready for the spring market. I've been at this game way too long in this industry, and I don't say way too long. I just completely aged myself. But I've seen a lot of the different trends come out. I've seen a lot of the different bright, shiny objects come out. It's what's shifting in the market, right? What's actually happening out there, and looking over different changes, regulatory changes, economic factors at play, technology. I mean, there's always more coming, and there's always more that's really impacting the market and impacting your production and what you can do and what you can't do. I mean, I got to go right for it right now and talk about AI for a minute because we, talk about bright, shiny objects. Talk about chasing squirrels. I've probably said this before. Ha. Ha, ha, ha. Yes, I've definitely said it before. But I'm going to say it again. If you don't embrace AI, it's like not embracing the wheel. Let that one sink in. If you don't embrace AI, it's like not embracing the wheel. Somebody said that to me over a nice smoky cocktail at a very cool speakeasy in Dallas last year. It's probably the year before. I definitely know it was like post-COVID. It wasn't pre-COVID. And it's funny how we all think like pre-COVID was only 2 years ago, but it was like 5 years ago. But anyway, somebody said that to me, and it shifted my mindset around this topic of AI. I'm like, oh, wow, that's a good point. I guess I should get on the ship here. I should figure out what this, really does and the power of it. And because I've got issue with people, I don't know, getting a robot, a computer, a technology to think for them, and then taking the thoughts from technology and just regurgitating them out there in the world as if they're your own. See, in my mind, when I think about AI, I think to the fact that it has probably not made us a hell of a lot smarter because we're more reliant on the technology. We don't use our creative juices to get flowing with what we want to talk about, and whether it be in a newsletter, whether it be in a social media post, whether it be a conversation, a presentation, whatever we do, people are just relying on AI now. And I had, honestly, this ping pong ball going around in my head right now about AI is all over the place. I probably should have done a whole episode on AI for you today, but I don't know. That might have been a little bit boring. And we don't like to be boring, you know that. But the thing about it is this. First, I pushed back on it because I don't like the fact that people are taking the words from the technology and just regurgitating them. I think it makes you look silly, especially if you don't know what you're talking about. You got to be very weary about that because if somebody does catch you on it and you don't know what's going on, like you copy and paste whatever the newsletter they wrote for you and you just put it out to your people and your people call you and all of a sudden it's like, whoa, hold on a second. It's the type of thing that you really want to put your own spin on that. The other thing to note about AI is that, it doesn't deal on emotion. It's just a robot. It's just technology. So it doesn't have that human connection, that human emotion the way we do with each other. Now, the bone that I have to pick is the fact that we've got a lot of these big organizations that are touting AI to be the next best thing in real estate. But what gets me is we've already seen in the crystal ball what happened to blockbuster movies and travel agencies and retail shopping. I mean, the last time you walked into a mall, how busy was it? Really not that busy. Thank you, Amazon, right? So we've got to think to ourselves, how much sense does it make to put AI in between us and our client? And what does that do for, one, the value that they see in us when it comes to how much commission they're going to pay us? And two, the value they see in us for what we actually do for them to help them with that transaction. Now, I know, don't get me wrong, I know the value of a realtor. A good realtor, no robot, no AI is ever going to beat that. Unfortunately, when we look at the good realtors, only about 5% of the population of realtors actually probably get labeled under the word good or great or amazing. The rest of them, I don't know, maybe it's time to find another job. See, you got to run this thing like a business. So what people are doing now is they're going, we got to be more efficient, so I'm going to inject this AI. Or no, speakers and brands, they're putting people on stages to talk about this. And don't get me wrong, I get that the topic is great. I even had speakers come to the mastermind last year and talk about AI. The thing we need to understand is that it cannot replace you. It should not replace you. It should be your co-pilot. And you got to be very careful about how much you put it in between you and your clients. So getting it to write your newsletters, getting it to write your social media posts, getting it to respond to emails, getting it to do your scheduling for you. I mean, it sounds great, Oh my God, I don't have to do anything. But is it really that great? And let me ask you another question. Do you even know how to do all of this? Are you tech savvy enough that you're going to spend time doing that? And if you are, and I ask you about the million different hats you wear and the amount of overwhelm that you have every single day from just real life like the rest of us, do you seriously have the time to inject all of this AI and just trust this technology while you go out doing other stuff? Again, in theory, it sounds like that's very possible. And yeah, if you take time to do so, it can be. But again, we come back to that word, time. Do you truly have the time to implement this? Do you truly have the confidence to put this in between you and your clients and just sit back and go, it's good. AI's got this. And then again, I ask you, how are you proving your value? How are you going to remain relevant? And do you want to be obsolete in this business? Look, I know I'm coming across like I'm telling you not to use AI. That is not my message. I already stated, and I'll state it again. It can be an incredible co-pilot for you. You can leverage it to help you get creative. You can leverage it to bounce ideas around. You can leverage it to help you polish something, create something. But help, not do for you. Okay? And again, the bigger piece of the picture here, the bigger message I want to share is do not put it in between you and your clients. You've got to be the one thinking. You've got to be the one doing. You have to prove your value if you really want to still get paid. But the more we allow this to evolve, the more we allow it to do more tasks for us, the less that people are going to need us. And at some point, somebody is going to build an AI that's going to help you buy and sell your own house. And it's going to do it incredibly well, and people are going to start taking advantage of it. It's just the way evolution goes. We could talk about anything that's come out in terms of technology. This is what happens. So we've got to be very, very careful about how we allow this to keep going. All right, speaking of keep going, if I keep going, we're not going to have any other things to talk about today because I'm just going to keep rambling about AI. Not rambling, I'd say ranting. I don't even know if it's ranting. I think it's like really good, solid advice. Yeah, we're going to go with that. And truly, I do truly believe in what I just said. And I really want you to pick it apart and understand it. I put out a video yesterday. Here we go about AI again. I put out a video yesterday talking about AI, and I had a lot of people very, very supportive of it. And I basically said to people, I said, just be careful about how you inject AI into your business if you're going to do that. And we don't want to become obsolete. And that was, a similar message to what I just shared with you, but I did in like 60 seconds. So Dave, why couldn't you do it in 60 seconds here? Well, because this is my show. It's me and a microphone, and I'm just talking. No, but I'm trying to seriously plant some good seeds. And I had some other people come back and somewhat disagree with me. And funny enough, after, I sort of read their comments, I was like, there was one particular individual. He's a very smart guy. I actually said, it actually seems like you do agree with me. And so, I don't think that he watched the video and completely understood what I was saying. And that's important too. Before you lash out, make a comment, have feedback, anything else, really listen to the words that were said. Maybe don't even listen to them just once, but listen to them a second time if you have an opinion. And then, carve that out and ask yourself, okay, what was really said? How do I dissect that? And what would my opinion be on that? And that's cool. Everybody's allowed to have a different opinion. It's not that somebody's right or somebody's wrong. This one is mine. And all of it in an effort to protect this industry. Because we got some amazing people doing some amazing things. And I do believe that this is a people business, always has been and always should be. And I know for myself, I don't want to deal with a piece of technology to sell the biggest asset of my entire life. Or purchase. All right, let's keep moving here. That was my shtick on AI. I think I need a commercial break on this one. All right, commercial break over. Speaking of market dynamics and again, getting ready. Lawsuits. Real quickly here, this is an interesting one. We had the Sunderland versus Treb, which I also recorded another video about. And, the long and the short of that is this whole thing about price fixing and steering when it comes to commissions. I think it's a bunch of bullshit. I think that somebody's out for, some glamour over here from a law perspective. I have no idea why, we're turning this into a big deal. Personally speaking, the broker, the brand, the boards and the associations, they're not steering anybody anywhere. This is each individual agent who goes about how they do business. what they're going to offer for commission, how much they're going to advertise. Yes, there's some guidelines around, commissions and listing photos, and there's some new guidelines that came out, and if you haven't got yourself on the up and up, definitely check into those. But, on this particular case, Sunderland versus Treb, do I think that Treb is at fault? Not at all. I think they need to continue to stand their ground. This is not on Treb. Treb should not be getting sued based on the practice of some agents. These are the agents. And you can say somebody's got to be responsible. Yeah, the agent's got to be responsible. But here we are, and I don't understand it. I know, when this very similar lawsuit, which was sort of a different name and whatnot, happened down in the States, some of the big brands settled. And we've just learned recently that RE/MAX settled up here in Canada. I don't understand why. Why cop to something that you're not responsible for? What's the point? Now, I get it. There was probably some great legal advice that happened from the lawyers, which I totally understand. And this could be just preemptive to the whole thing of just not making it any bigger and just kind of going, look, we're on the side of consumers. And look, whatever the positioning was, and I'm not privy to any of that. So, I'm talking from a very surface level perspective. Moreover, I question why RE/MAX settled on something like this and basically said, hey, yes, we made a mistake or we're owning up to something. I, again, don't believe that RE/MAX is responsible for the practice of some of these agents and what they do and how, what they label off for commission or how they get people to come or not come into houses. I mean, again, there's a lot of training. There's a lot of guidance. There's a lot of compliance. There's a lot of opportunity to learn what is right and wrong in this industry. And I know that the brands, including RE/MAX and the boards, including Treb and everybody else, are doing their very best to educate, to get people doing the right things. But you can't control what people do every single day. So these lawsuits, in my opinion right now, I believe that people are what do they call them? Accident chasers? It's like we're trying to find something to make something out of. I don't believe there's something to be made out of. And I think for anybody that's totally concerned over this, listen, be a professional. Do the right things by your clients. Really always have them in mind. Not your money, but have them in mind. The more you have it in mind to help other people, the more you will be helped and the more you will get to where you want to be, whatever that definition of success looks like for you. Now, speaking of RE/MAX, as we look at sort of the impact of the big brands, and not just RE/MAX, but a number of the big brands that have been around for a long time. And of course, RE/MAX has made a huge statement in the real estate industry over a number of years, where you could go anywhere with that little balloon on your lapel and people know what you do for a living. Not to mention, they just switched up their logo, and some people have said it looks very much like Pepsi. I believe, personally, I'm hoping that they're going to come out with additional variations of that logo because I think they lost some of the power of the name, the RE/MAX name on the balloon. But look, this is not to pump up RE/MAX or tear down RE/MAX by any means. Moreover, where I was going with the impact of the big brands, I think that's changed. It's not what it used to be. It used to be that you could wear, again, that pin or be represented by one of the bigger brands and really, gain the notoriety and the confidence from people. And I still do believe there's an aspect to that because people do recognize the bigger brands. Whereas if you're with a smaller entity, a more boutique brokerage, they may not recognize it. And especially if you're new in the industry, they may wonder who you are or who you're working for. But when you're established and you've got a good business running, at the end of the day, whatever color hat you wear, whatever brand you wear, whatever logo, I want to work with you. And when I've got the rapport with you, I want to work with you. And so I really don't care what logos and colors and all that other stuff. And we're seeing this more and more. In this, man, I can't believe I'm going to bring this word up again a second time on this show. But this post-COVID era where people aren't in the office as much, we're seeing people looking at different options out there. So the landscape has certainly changed. And I guess the emphasis to this, again, is about you and how you operate with your people. Really important that you continue to always think about service and experience. And, of course, repeat and referral business. Your book of business is going to be your lifeline for the longevity of this business. So you got to really focus in on it. And as I talk about the lack of agents in offices, one thing we know is that people are chasing, it's no longer about, I guess, how many leads you can hand out or who's got the nicest coffee machine. Now it's all about culture. It's all about connectivity. When we talk about what office or brand or brokerage you're with, you got to think about that culture. Do I have a group of like-minded people? Am I connecting with these people? Can I learn and collaborate with these people? Do I like these people? And don't get me wrong, real estate's a very individual sport. But this is what people are looking at now. So again, as we sort of just take an analysis of what's going on in the market and what's happening, AI and lawsuits and the big brands not really being what they are, and lack of agents in the office, the landscape certainly changed. So the question becomes, how do you capitalize? Well, maybe a little bit cliche or whatever, a parallel here, but spring always brings new opportunities, and of course it's going to bring new challenges. So some things that we can do to really take that on. Okay, first, it's time to take advantage of the better weather. Start thinking about, real human interactions. Okay, door knocking, community events, sponsorships. Oh, Dave, door knocking? Really, man? That's so old school. I'm just going to go online. I'm going to buy leads, and people are going to send them to me in my email because, that's what's going to happen. Yeah, sure. Sure, that's going to happen. How much money do you have for that? Like, truly, how much money do you have to spend on that advertising to just buy leads? And then what kind of systems and processes you got in the background to actually convert those leads? And how much money does that cost you? How much time does it cost you? And are you playing whack-a-mole? Like, literally, the minute that email goes off, you got to run? What about being strategic? Get out and actually meet people. Shake hands. Kiss babies. I'm not really saying to kiss the babies. I mean, unless it's like your baby or something. But you know what I mean, right? Like, get out and see people. Get involved in your community. Pick a specific area. If you think about your contact list, and I ask you right now, where is your contact list? You're like, it's on, it's in my phone or it's in my CRM. All right, cool. I'm not going to go off on a tangent right now about where it should be. Point is, you know where it is. Now I ask you, where's your farm area? Where are you planting seeds so that you can start to gain more leads? How do you like that one, right? You need a farm area. And you need to get out and meet the people in that farm area. And to meet people, it's about sending stuff in the mail. It's about going out and knocking on their doors and just politely saying, hi, this is me. Hello, how are you? Not necessarily wanting to sell the house. It's about getting involved in community events, being seen. Okay, see and be seen. Be there. Put up a tent, a booth, or whatever. Just shake hands. Give stuff away. Let people know you exist. Doors are open. Lights are on. And sponsorship. Right now, the local soccer club or the local baseball club, they are looking for sponsors. I can tell you right now. And if you do want to sponsor a team in the Richmond Hill community in Ontario here, please get in touch with me, and I will certainly hook you up with an amazing baseball club to help you do that. That being said, though, it's not just about slapping your logo on the front or back of a jersey. This is about being seen. Show up. Bring coffee and donuts for the parents every once in a while. Bring pizza for the kids every once in a while. Do some ice cream every once in a while. Take advantage of the opportunity to go out there and just be with people. Again, see and be seen. Remember, it's a know you, like you, trust you business. And I know sometimes people are like, but I'm so extroverted. I don't want to go see people. What are you doing in this business then? Okay? This business is all about seeing people and talking to people. So we got to get out there with people. So what do? Well, one, when we think about community events, go to the local community website and find out where the event calendar is and figure out what might interest you to be a part of. Sponsorships, seriously, call the baseball club, call the soccer club. They're both looking for sponsors right now. And door knocking, pick that farm area. And of course, you want the soccer club and baseball club to be in the same kind of vicinity of that farm. Now there's repetition and consistency, right? People see you on a regular basis. They see that you're out there. They see that you're a real person. You're not just hiding behind a camera on Instagram or AI writing your stuff for you, because AI can't be at that soccer club for you or sponsorship or community event or door knock. You've got to do this. And that's where you win. So an action step here is to really review and think about the things we just talked about. Okay, think about where you're gathering your own data to understand what's happening out here in the market and what you can do to really have the most knowledge about what's actually going on, because knowledge is power. And in real estate, it really is your lifeline. The more you understand about the market, the more you understand about the community, the more you can educate other people. And then when you get out and see people, communicate to educate. Stay connected with people. Dig deep in those conversations and be where they are, because conversations equal closures. So you could talk to technology, you could talk to lawsuits, you could talk to real estate, you could talk to market statistics. And all of it when you are out there with people. This is how you're going to totally take advantage of your spring market and set yourself up for the rest of the year to be real strong for you. Now, speaking of, let's talk to some productivity hacks. How do we boost efficiency? How do we make sure that we are doing as much as we possibly can and having the success that we want? Let's look at some practical tips here. That can help us manage those daily tasks more effectively. And think about your productivity. How can you maximize your day to ensure you're hitting your goals? Now, you could go right back to this whole topic of AI and go, well, I'm going to inject AI. Well, then again, I'm going to ask you, how much time is it going to take you to inject that AI? Do you truly understand what you're injecting it into? And how much do you trust it? Or do you have more confidence in yourself? See, I'm going to go for me, okay? I got more confidence in me than I do in, well, I guess anything or anyone. And that's the way it should be. You should feel the same way. So let's go back to sort of what we talked about off the top about reviewing wins and misses and losses, or pardon me, the lessons, right? First, look at your goals, okay? We are 2 months in. We've got 10 months left. Recognize what you do want. Recognize what actions you're taking to actually do and achieve what you want. And track it daily. See, it's about embracing the little wins because they equal the big wins. We have to take time to actually pay attention to what we are and aren't doing. And really, this really ties right back into what we talked about off the top. Okay? We have a lot of time right now. I cannot emphasize this enough. And I'm trying to motivate you and inspire you right now by giving you these words of encouragement and actual action steps to say, look, do this. You do this and you could change everything you're doing. It could get even better than it is. Well, I guess it could get even better than it is either way. Whether you're doing really, really good or you're doing, well, not so good, it can get better. But it is about recognizing what you want. It's about recognizing the daily plan you take to get that. As we do think about, tech and how we can integrate it, there is an opportunity to combine some of these tech solutions with some of this, personal to-dos, okay, to help with these interactions. But again, if you think to, wow, look, the topic of AI just came up again. Copilot to help you create content, but not write the content for you and not just copy-paste. Okay, so you can leverage AI to help you from a text perspective, just for a little bit of the thinking. But again, I need to keep encouraging the human interaction, the thought process that you have around it. DMs, direct messages. What a powerful way to have a one-on-one conversation with another person. Everybody's on social these days. Everybody's got, call it Instagram and Messenger and all these things. Slide into those. Have a one-on-one with people. People are there. And especially people you haven't got a phone number for, an email address for, or mailing address for. I mean, this is such a great way to meet people. Leverage it. And another online solution is going to be your emails. You have to have consistent email communication. And I get the question all the time, but maybe it's too much. I only want to go out there once. I don't want people to know. Yeah, if I said running shoes, what do you think of? Nike. Fast food? McDonald's. Soda pop? Coca-Cola. Point is, those companies never worried about how much they were advertising to us. By the way, speaking of McDonald's, total sidebar on this, going way off track for just a quick moment. Connor McDavid, hockey player, this guy is so big, like he has become so huge in the game of hockey and on like a world stage, maybe Canadian stage, but whatever, same thing, that McDonald's in Newmarket, Ontario actually changed their sign to not say McDonald's but say McDavid's. And on the building, like right under the Golden Arches, like the famous McDonald's sign, said McDavid. And then on the side of the building, it said McDonald's, McDavid. Blown away. I mean, forget about winning a Stanley Cup. That is just the coolest thing ever. Anyways, back on track here. Thinking about consistency, thinking about messaging, thinking about our email communication. It is very important to be consistent with that email communication. It's crucial that we are out there twice a month, sending out an email blast to our entire contact list. Again, doors are open, lights are on. Let's make sure that we're staying in touch with people. What do we talk about? Well, give them a market update. Give them a few tips and tricks for their house. Let them know what's listed, what's sold. Give them a recap on how you feel the month went on your second email of the month, looking back and then looking ahead. Not hard. Always answer the question, what do I want them to know? Why should they care? What action do I want them to take? Point is, make sure that you have at least 2 emails into your marketing every single month. So again, as an action step here, really focus in on your goals. Break them down into daily actions. Recognize how much time you do or don't have, and then make the most of it. And don't get sucked into the hype of the bright, shiny objects that are going to simplify your business, because they don't. They just overcomplicate it. Stay focused on relationships. That's where the real business and the longevity of your business is going to come from. Okay, other section here. Let's talk about a little bit of a pre-spring client engagement, which I guess we just kind of touched on here. But see, like I make these bullet point notes about things that I want to talk about as I get through the show. And then, of course, the ping pong ball in my brain starts, firing one way and then another way. And all of a sudden, like, there's all sorts of crazy stuff going on. There's a big party going on here. But as you can tell, we have some fun with this. And I truly do enjoy this, because I know that deep down, outside of the jokes and the laughs, which are always, always important, there is some true action steps here for people. And I know that it's certainly helpful. So again, I thank you for tuning in. But let's look at this. We work hard all year to try to meet new people, and I talk about building up the database and converting from group 2 to group 1. Follow-up is so crucial. And oftentimes we get so busy, it's tough to do the follow-up that we need to be doing. So looking at some, I guess, different maybe techniques to re-engage clients who maybe went cold over the winter. You might have talked to them like in the fall, and they're like, yeah, I'm thinking of doing something, and maybe in the new year, in the spring. It is time to rekindle those connections. Okay, and if you haven't been in touch with those people already, why? Like, what are you waiting for? Oh, it's not the spring yet. No. It's not supposed to be the spring when you reconnect with them. They said they want to do something in the spring. You connect with them in the dead of winter. Build in MindShare, because MindShare equals market share. So, follow-up, absolutely crucial to success. Typically speaking, everybody wants the first phone call to convert. Never, ever, 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 ever happens. It's like going on a date and thinking you get a hit home run, or, you know what I mean. You got to get to first base first, okay? So follow-up is really crucial, and you've got to be thinking to yourself, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12 touches. And at some point, I'll get that conversion, okay? That final conversion of like an actual deal. So it's important that as we go back to the daily actions, that we look at the actions that we take of doing follow-up, of reaching out to people in our database to say hello, of sending some of those texts and doing some of those DMs. And whether we left a voicemail or we sent the DM and nobody got back to us, the point is we did the action. And that's how we need to measure our success, is by the actions, not by the money. Do the actions, get the money. Just look for the money and don't do the actions, not going to happen. You're not going to get the money. So think to yourself and ask yourself, what daily actions am I doing right now? And I would say one of these right now is feeding your brain. You're listening to this podcast, and again, I thank you. How often do you feed your brain? I recommend it's got to be 30 minutes a day every single day. It's important, right? Just it's not even as much as you feed your belly, but you work on feeding your belly. Let's work on feeding the brain. The more we learn, the better we get, the smarter we get, the more confidence we get. The more we got insights into different ideas, opinions, strategies, solutions, challenges, the quicker we can come up and out of wherever we are. Okay, so again, think about your actions in a day. Are you doing the actions that you need to be doing in order to get the results that you want to be getting? Important. Measure success by your actions, not by your money. Do the actions, get the money. And of course, as you're doing these actions, always add notes to the profiles, okay? So when you talk to somebody, whether you leave a voicemail, whether you send a DM, whether you see somebody at a coffee shop, whether you go on social media, it takes time, but make sure that you are taking that time to go in and put the notes into that person's profile. Really, truly list out what it is that you talked about, and then when the next time is that you're going to follow up with them. Everybody you meet needs to go to your CRM. So you want to talk about, converting more opportunities? It starts somewhere. And the first step towards conversion is actually putting people in the database, updating the notes, and scheduling the next follow-up. As I just mentioned, the more we do the follow-up, the more opportunity we get. Okay? Now, speaking of that, as we look ahead to the market that's happening right now, we need to prepare for, how many more people we're going to be talking to between buyers and sellers. We've got to get these strategies of ours polished. Communication needs to be consistent. Okay, follow-up needs to be consistent. The time that we take to input people into our database needs to be consistent. Okay, so again, when we're looking at what's going on this upcoming spring market, it really is about communicating and watching the way we spend our time so that we've got the ultimate of consistency. The more consistent we are with these strategies, the more we're going to accomplish, the more we're going to convert, the more opportunity we're going to get. You're going to meet people at open houses. You're going to meet people when you're door knocking, these community events, different showings. Like, there's going to be a lot of people coming through. And if you don't put these people in your database, it's a missed opportunity. Because somebody else that you're competing against is going to, and that person's going to get the business. And then you can ask yourself, because you didn't take the time to do this stuff, why not me? Well, why not? Because you didn't take the time to do what you were supposed to do. This is not a fly-by-night business. You cannot treat it as if it doesn't matter when you meet these people that I don't need to put them in, and when they're ready, they'll call me. No. This moment in time right now, think about December, January, February. How many people are you truly meeting out there? Probably not a lot, because it's cold, it's dark. There's not a lot of people out and about. But as the better weather comes around, and you got the nice sun shining and the grass growing and everything else, and it's going to start. I know there's still a lot of white out there, but it's going to start. There's going to be a lot more people out. Every single person you meet, it's an opportunity to add them into your database, and it becomes another opportunity to do a deal with them. Okay, build that relationship with them, and down the road, the business will come. This is the mindset we need to have in real estate. It's not about closing a transaction today. It's not about getting the deal today when you meet the person. It is all about the long game. The same way we say about investing in real estate is a long-term investment. You're doing the same thing. It's a long-term investment. So a real simple action step here, reach out to 3 to 5 past clients every single day. Okay? Like a simple little message, hey, was just thinking about you. And if I look back on my notes from the last conversation I had with you, I can actually jump off whatever we talked about the last time to go right back into creating conversation this time. And what it does is it reignites the interest in just speaking with you and who you are and what you do and what you're about. And it brings you top of mind. It helps you build that mind share. Maybe it's the trip they took. Maybe it is the fact that they want to go potentially buy a new home or a cottage property or whatever. Could be anything. Could be talking about playoff season in the NHL and the fact that the Blue Jays are back. I mean, there's so many different conversations we can have. The more we converse with people, the deeper we go with people, the stronger we build those relationships, the more opportunities we create. Again, that's you building positive mindshare. All right. That's a wrap on today's deep dive. The whole idea was here, to help you gear up into the spring market. And we've tackled a lot today. Everything from adjusting your strategy based on, recent wins and losses, to seizing these unique opportunities that the springtime brings in the real estate world. Don't discount that. Understand that. March is definitely a time for madness. The phone will be ringing, people will be messaging, and you will be running. This time of the season is a blend of you doing what you can to maximize your opportunity for more business and balancing staying on track with achieving your goals. Remember, it's the actions that you take today that are going to set you up for the success that you want tomorrow. So don't just sit on this information that we talked about today, okay? Make this work for you. This is your launching pad. Your time to ignite is right now. So use these strategies that we hammered out to make those connections and push forward and do it with confidence. And hey, of course, if this episode about March Madness fired you up, share it. Spread the word. Help others get this same advantage, because when you lift others up, you lift up too. Okay? So keep pushing, keep striving, and remember, your best season, it's right in front of you. So stay on your game, keep building that mind share, and you will get the market share.